Thank you for joining us today, Francois Munger from Geneva Water Hub. I wonder if you could start with taking a couple of moments for our readers and listeners to introduce yourself, describe the history and background of Geneva Water Hub and its purposes.
Thank you, David. It's with pleasure that I will do that. Do you know, David, the water is certainly one of the key challenges of this century. And in particular, transboundary issues are also very, very important. The World Economic Forum, since 5 years, positioned water as, or the risk on water as one of the major global risks, and between 10 or more other risks. And the climate change now increase this risk for the versatility that it represents for on water resources. But in terms of transboundary issue, we have about 300 transboundary lakes and rivers, and a large part of our resources are transboundary. We have also more or less 300 major aquifers, which are also transboundary. And at the local level, as well at the global level or at transboundary level, we see more and more risk or intersectorial dispute. And since a few years, there's been more and more warning about the possibility of water conflict and water shortage coupled with poverty and society instability. I think the risk or the conflict are never linked with just one factor. But if you have a group of factors as water scarcity, problematic of water quality, linked with social difficulties, economic difficulties, this could converge on water control. But on the other hand, water is also a strong instrument for cooperation. And because water is unique, it's also a tool for the cooperation at the transboundary level, but also in the intersectorial level. For example, between energy and agriculture or others. And it is with this vision that has been created the Geneva Water Hub. The Geneva Water Hub was, at the beginning, one initiative of the Swift Development Cooperation, and it is now a global center of the University of Geneva. The Geneva Water Hub is structured around three main functions. The first one is in fact a function of education and research. And in terms of result, we had about more than 20,000 students in 3 or 4 years. We have also a strong function of networking and advocacy on this question on water, peace, and security. And we take advantage to be in Geneva, the International Geneva, where we have about 170 missions to the UN, which is also a place where we have solid discussion around of peace, but also solid capacities in terms of water with different institutions inside of the UN or NGOs. This means that we are not by chance in Geneva, but because Geneva is certainly a specific place to tackle this question of water and peace. And the third function that we have, the Geneva Water Hub, is a function of think tank. This means a capacity on a subject which has already been prepared, for example, by our group of research, on a specific question, which is a hot question now. We have the capacity to create and mobilize people, specialists, and decision maker to have a reflection on hot topic. As for example, we have now more and more the question of the filling of the dams, which become one major issue. So we don't have a lot of elements how we can fill the dams, and a reflection on how to fill the dams. What are the key aspects on the filling of the dams and reduction the risk on conflict and risk of problems during this filling is one possible subject that we could tackle through the think tank. Again, for example, the question of Sahel, the region of Sahel, is a question where really water security become more and more hot topic. It's also a subject we can tackle through our think tank. So we have this three function, but we try after that to have an influence through different platforms, global platforms. One is certainly the scientific research network, which links the University of Geneva with various universities in the world. But we have also created and supported the creation of the Global High-Level Panel on Water and Peace, which was an initiative which really, we could say, makes a difference in terms of analysis at the global level, the question of water and peace. And we have like this various platforms. But as Geneva Water Hub, we also consider that not everything has to be rational. We need also to include some emotion in our work. And it's for this that we have created a platform. The name is Art for Water and Peace. And in parallel of the work of the high-level panel on water and peace, I will perhaps say a few words on it after that. In parallel of the development of this panel, we have created a symphony on water and peace. And this symphony is just the reproduction of the work of the panel, and it's been composed by musicians of the different countries where the panel is his meeting, and trying to have a symphony which is coherent between these four different compositors. And now we just published the last version of the symphony, and we have created the fifth movement of the symphony, which is from recommendation to action. And this gives an image, a musical image of the high-level panel on water and peace. And if you allow me, I would like to give you a little more information about this high-level panel.
Oh, yes, please do.
Okay. We have this high-level panel of water and peace is certainly a major initiative which has been supported by the Geneva Water Hub. It's a 2 years initiative launched by 15 co-governance countries in November 2015 in Geneva. The purpose of this initiative was to develop a set of proposals to reinforce the global framework to prevent and resolve water-related conflict, also to facilitate the use of water as an important factor of building peace, and examine the relevance on water issues in national and global policy making. This initiative has been supported by the Geneva Water Hub. We act as a secretariat, but also by the Strategic Foresight Group, which was also an important partner of this initiative. Just for information, the 15 co-governing countries were Slovenia, Senegal, Costa Rica, Switzerland, Colombia, Spain, Hungary, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Ghana, Oman, Estonia, Cambodia, France, and Morocco. And the chair of the panel was Daniel Turk, former president of the Republic of Slovenia. This panel had his preparation for key moments in different countries. First one in Geneva, first reflection of the panel. The second one in Dakar, where the panel was really very interested on all the development on the Senegal River Commission and other good example in the region. After that, the panel had a session in Costa Rica, where we focused more on the question of local conflict, because as I mentioned before, the water conflict are not all transboundary. We have a lot of local conflict, for example, between mining extraction versus local agriculture, because mining requires a lot of water for the extraction, in particular gold extraction, and you have source of conflict between the interest of the national interest, you could say, of the extraction of gold, and the local interest of local agriculture. So we focus the work of the panel in Costa Rica on this question of local conflict, and also a good example where definitively conflict between the construction of dams and local population has been solved positively. This means to understand what has been the key ingredient to resolve this positively. And the last session of the panel was in Amman, Jordan, where we prepare the document, the final document, but also we tackle the question of water and refugees, a country that know what refugee means for this strategic situation.
And as you describe, the report's title is a matter of survival. It is absolutely vital to all of us. What are the next steps politically to make sure some of these aims get realized?
Yes. Okay. The next step, and we developed this during these years. It has been the presentation of this recommendation in different level. And this recommendation has been presented in September 2017 in Geneva, but after it has been presented to the group of friends in Geneva, which represent about 40 countries. And after that, at the international level, it has been presented in the World Water Forum and by the chair, Danilo Turk, in various major events. The document has also been presented to the UN Secretary General in January this year. And it was interesting because it was clear for the Secretary General that water could be really a link between two agendas, the peace agenda and the development agenda. Being clear that peace is not just to do not have an armed conflict. Peace is to have a sustainable development. And we need a bridge between these two agendas, the peace agenda and the development agenda. And water is certainly one of the key instruments between these two agendas. So we have presented, and we are still in the presentation of this recommendation, and now in the implementation of the recommendation, because we want to have action and not just, of course, recommendation. And as Geneva Water Hub, we make a follow-up of what is happening with these different recommendations. And we are also supporting some of them and directly operating some and the development of some of these recommendations. For example, we work with different universities on this question of data and the superposition of different analysis of data. We are also working on the elaboration of a list of infrastructure which could not be defined during the conflict, because humanitarian law now are generally broad on this question, but not clear enough. So we are now in the process of elaboration of a list of infrastructure that could not be defined. It could be also an electricity infrastructure or others, not just water infrastructure. And we work strongly on this question of the creation of an observatory on water and peace. Such observatories that will not be a new institution. We have a lot of institutions in the water sector. We don't need a new institution. Such observatory will be more a network with different nodes of existing institutions that agree to work on this analytical view on water and peace and follow up the development of the reflection of the panel, and also with the capacity to create a safe space that I mentioned before, to have solid reflection on hot aspect or link with water, or to facilitate the creation of innovative projects in terms of cooperation. So we are now at this development, and we also start beginning of reflection on the possibility to induce the creation of a code of conduct on water and for the big industry. And we want to start with mining companies or multinational mining companies. But we are just in the beginning now on this reflection.
And do you feel that the audience, the political audience, and the public audience, do you detect that there is more interest and enthusiasm and understanding for the importance in water and the linkages with peace, with international development, etc.?
Yes, David, I am sure of this. 4 years ago, David, it was quasi not possible to speak about water and security in New York, for example, in the UN. It was a taboo. And in 2050, and various occasions after that, the Security Council now is taking this question, and this question is tackled recently. This means that the subject become more prominent inside of the UN. We have also a few publications of the UN of statement which also consider this question of water and peace. This means that it's become a subject more and more commune, and I think it's an effect of the work done this last years by the panel.
So is it fair to say that you are optimistic?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are optimistic, and I would like to say we don't have the choice because we cannot reach, as I said, we cannot reach the SDGs goal, we cannot reach sustainable development this century if we are not able to reduce the risk of conflict, increase the conflict linked also with water, and also to increase the use of water management as a source of peace and cooperation. As it definitively one unique tool to induce the cooperation, and this not just on water, but in more broader sense.
Thank you very much, Francois Munger.